Thanks for staying with us. We're back with Mr. Alansi Binal, and we've been talking about the World Population Day. Of course, we left off before the break with a few things, and we're back in conversation with all of that. So let's add on to what we were talking about previously.
In all honesty, that I've just served in the country for 5 years in Central Africa, where we seem to have the same discourse, but the young people are not given the space to express their talents. There is no potential, there is no possibility to be educated in a fair way without corruption. There is no possibility to have access to any kind of healthcare, let alone free healthcare, where a lot of young women are pregnant at the age of 12, 13, 14 years and so forth. Now coming here, I see almost the exact opposite. And yes, it is important to recognize these young people with the minimum that we can do, which is a small publication, but also so that they serve as role models, that they are really inspirations that others can look up to. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes this a successful nation, I think.
Mm-hmm. And in this publication you've got, and I'm doing the count, you've got 5 guys and 5 men and 4 women featured here. Of course, BNS being featured together as one, as a duo. And equality there as well in making sure that you've got the right kind of numbers and the right kind of success stories in there. Anyone else in particular from this book that you want to talk about? Everyone wants to hear great stories about young people who've done well for themselves and who in turn are also inspiring others. Anyone else that you've met in the recent past who you think has had the same kind of ripple effect or that kind of success story?
Yes, you see, I don't want to it would be very unfair to single out a person, but I think the stories that I'm seeing here, that I'm hearing, that are so inspiring, where someone has a passion for photography or for any kind of visual art, or just last week I was addressing, this is very interesting, I was addressing probably one of the least interesting associations to a young person, which is an association of demographers, right? But within that crowd, there were so many young demographers who came to talk to me and say, you know, I'm doing a research on fertility. I'm doing a research on conditions at work.
And this is all here in Sri Lanka?
This is also here in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
I'm doing research on certain phenomenon of use of mobile phones, for example, as young researchers. And what we discussed was that if they take that passion and that commitment that they have and combine it with the digital age, with information communication technology, with getting out of that shell, you see, and really being able to say, okay, I have a passion and a commitment, and I'm linking this now to the business world. Now, what is in the way that I can do? And those are the inspiring stories. It can go from someone who has opened a facility to board pets. It goes to young women and young men who are in a very burgeoning industry of this country, which is the hotel and tourism industry, who are determined to make a difference, although the industry is complex, but who say that me as a leader, I can do training, I can do capacity building, I can do promotion of my industry among my group and so forth. So I think these are some of the examples that I find extremely inspiring. And also it is very humble. I'm very humbled when I see, and again, it's a stark contrast with my previous experiences, how many Sri Lankans want to stay in Sri Lanka and who want to give something either to their country or give something back to their country. I'm contacted almost on a daily basis by young Sri Lankans who finish their degree in Australia, in the UK, in Canada and so forth, and say, Mr. Representative, how can I contribute? When you look at the volunteer scheme of the United Nations volunteers, it is absolutely fantastic. I sat here in this same studio during the V Awards I think it was at the beginning of this year. It is absolutely fantastic that you have a sense of voluntarism, a sense of wanting to give something to your community, which is directly linked to the religious, cultural fabric of this country. These are very, very inspiring stories that I would like to just highlight without going into names and
overall,
details. Yes.
Overall, it looks like we've got a bright future for our youth, and let's hope that, of course, this year's theme does us good. So thank you very much for being on the show and for enlightening us on world population. It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you so much, Rai, for having me. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show, and to our audience also, happy World Population Day. And with that, we'll leave you today on a Friday. We hope you enjoy the weekend. We'll leave you with a song. We'll see you again on Monday morning. Till then, have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.